Tan 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 tan, 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 tan 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 tan.
Kwacha, good morning Zambia. Celebrating Zambian excellence, I'm proud to announce Sampa the Great. Powerful new music. Never forget. Featuring Zambian excellence, Chef 187, Tio Nason, and Wanji. Out now, Sampa the Great. Never forget. Streaming on all major platforms.
Another exciting episode of That Zed Podcast, and I'm a bit distracted because there's so much food on the table right now. Lamek, I don't know if you can actually zoom into the food right now. So much, and it's for the whole crew. It's for the whole crew. There's like 10 camera guys at the back here, sound and whatever. So just putting it out there before I look like a glutton, or you know what I mean. So this episode is brought to you by the Zambia Ending AIDS campaign. And with this campaign, of course, the name is already giving, we're trying to end AIDS in Zambia. And, you know, we're living in a time where there's so many, modes, or should I say there's so many ways in which you can, first of all, prevent AIDS from getting into you. Talk about, first of all, abstinence, condom use. We now have PrEP. And there are also, ways that can reduce the possibility of you catching AIDS, and that's circumcision. It reduces, it doesn't eliminate, just reduces the possibility of you catching HIV. So we'll talk about these things a little later on this episode. And once again, this episode is brought to you by Zambia Ending AIDS campaign. So more of that coming up later on the show. And we are at Spur Ranch, Manderhill Mall. As you can see, breakfast, you can bring the family here for your breakfast, your lunch, like the food you see, the big platter for your whole family. Amazing episode this one is going to be. We are with Mwaka Mugala, who's coming up in a few. I just want to talk about the Zambia Ending AIDS campaign before we start. And there's so much we're going to talk about, man. There's condom use, there's the sexual debut. You know what that means, bruh? Losing your virginity, bruh. Your sexual debut. So we're going to talk about, the first time someone has sex, it can't be a special occasion for everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, so... But it must always be careful and well planned. So we're going to discuss a bit about not being forced into sex, whether you're a man or woman, not giving into peer pressure, about when to lose one's virginity, plus more. So it's going to be a lit episode. In addition to us talking to Mwaka Mugala, that's also coming up. So look out for that right here on That Zed Podcast with K+, and also coming up a little later on. And action. First things first, I need to apologize for Elson. His lateness today is not his doing. It's not his fault. Mwaka has a busy, tight schedule. And we plan to record this later today, but she's had to push it back, and Elson also has had to, reschedule a lot of meetings in his day today. So him being late today is not his fault. Have to mix all these programs up to make this work today. Anywho, welcome to That Zed Podcast. My name is K+. Elson joining us later. Apologies on his behalf once again. And Mwaka, welcome to That Zed Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're a busy person, always, doing your TV thing or whatever, brand ambassador endorsement meetings or whatever. But do you watch That Zed Podcast though?
I do. I won't lie and say no, I've watched all the episodes. Yeah? No, I haven't. But I've seen a lot of clips here and there.
It's just 36 episodes. So of those, how many have you seen so far?
Maybe 3.
3? You know how many Zuba episodes I've watched as well?
I barely have time to watch anything. So even for the show, it's crazy.
In all fairness, I've never watched Zuba as well. So,
really?
Yeah, never.
Wow.
Never.
Then I've never watched the Zed Podcast.
Okay, we are all fans of Zuba, and I must say you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. I can tell how much of an impact you have in the industry by how our crew is so starstruck right now. Look at Lamek not even breathing right now.
that they're just doing their job.
Yeah. Anywho, Mwaka, there's so much to talk about when it comes to you, your brand, the impact you've had on the industry, plus more. And I only discovered today that Maka Mogala is actually your dad. Is it?
Yes.
What? How do I not know this? Vijay, you didn't tell me. I only found out today when we're doing the research that that's actually your dad.
Yeah, in all fairness, not a lot of people know, I guess.
Maka Mogala is I think for kids growing up today who've not consumed much of ZNBC, they don't know what that means and why it's exciting for me to discover this today. But we grew up watching your dad on TV, like almost every TV show had Maka Mogala in the 90s, early 2000s. What was it like growing in a home where your dad is a celebrity though?
Honestly, I never really saw him that way. For me, he was just dad. And even the first time I saw him on TV, I remember very vividly, we were watching ZNBC and my mom was ironing and I'm like, Mom, Dad is in the box. And she goes like, yeah. I'm like, oh, is that why he's not here? And she goes like, yeah. So when he's done, is he going to come out from there? Or, I was so confused. And
wait, how old were you?
I was quite young. I was like
3, 4, 5, somewhere there?
Yeah, about thereabouts. So for me, he was still dad. The only way I realized that I had to share him with the public was whenever we were out either doing groceries and people would stop him to talk to him and I'd be so irritated. I'm just like, can we go? Because I did. People just always wanted to talk to him and I didn't like sharing.
Yeah, I can
I didn't
imagine.
want to share him.
For me, I think the most my parents were not famous, but I think I can relate to the extent where what's up with mothers and church services and you just can't knock off.
Right?
You have to talk to everyone.
And there just always seems to be a conversation all the time. Like just when you think, okay, the conversation is done, then another story comes up and you're just like, okay, I guess we're not having ice cream today.
Exactly, you know what I mean? I'm trying to imagine, did your dad being in that box, you would imagine your dad going in for work and coming out when he knocks off? Did that have an influence on the decisions you made today? Like, you ending up on Zuba?
Not necessarily.
No?
I would say indirectly. Originally, I wanted to. Okay, I guess we'll.
The drink is here. Guang, guang, guang. Hey.
Okay, then I'll do Jameson instead. That's gonna
You
be
don't have
edited
what you
out,
ordered.
right? That's gonna be edited out. I'm just like.
No.
Why?
People need to know you're a real human being and you do real things. You know what I mean?
But I follow rules.
All right. Okay, cool. No, we'll do that thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about how, did your dad's being on TV influence the decision you made today?
I'd say yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, because obviously being around him, I got to interact with him in his work environment. And I was just intrigued by all of that. So initially rather, I wanted to be a journalist. And so when I spoke to him about it, he was happy, but then he advised that I do mass communication instead.
Right.
Because then I'd have more options, for advertising, PR, marketing, yada, yada, yada. So the first time I actually did my internship as a reporter, I just said, no, I couldn't do it. So that made me change my mind. And so I just decided to venture out into other things like news anchoring, which he did. So that is in a way in which he influenced me. No, because the acting and all of that was just a side hobby, I guess, something that I loved to do at church, at school.
Yeah.
It was a passion that I had, a talent I had, because my dad also used to act, believe it or not. His dad used to act.
in Play Circle or something?
No, in high school. He never really...
that far back.
Yes, he never really did.
Right.
We did actually do a production together on TV, but for him it was mostly stage acting. And that's where I come from. I come from theater and...
You did theater?
Yes.
I think we need to tap into that before this episode.
Yeah, so for me, being on TV was a dream I always had.
Yeah.
But I never really thought it would be possible because back then, obviously, the film industry in Zambia was not very it wasn't as developed as it is today.
It wasn't as developed. The productions were shitty. The pay it wasn't a very lucrative industry.
No, actually, most times, like a lot of old time actors told me that they actually had to put in money instead of getting out money. So, they would contribute for things like logistics and whatnot instead of actually getting a salary. So for me, I thought, some of us, that dream of it's going to be crazy. So yeah, I ended up, just pour it in here, please. Thank you.
But those people, despite how much they put in, they really paved the way.
Yes, they really did.
A lot of you actors, actresses today. I'm imagining, wait. I'm trying to calculate your age, eh? In my head right now, I'm trying to figure out who could have been your greatest acting influence in this country. Are we talking as far back as Danica Ngoki, the Maximos, and...
Yeah, I used to watch them as a kid. So I used to watch them. But for me, that was more on the theater side, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did get influenced by a lot of these. I think a banana back then was like the biggest. Yeah, so from things like Play Circle, then we had Kabanana, and people just went crazy because it's like, we have something like this here.
Kabanana was like a major disruptor.
It was.
We had the Jason Kabananas who just came in, and the lady. I think it was like for the first time on Zambian TV with like had a heartthrob.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I did have a crush on him as well. So it was
Which
kind
girl
of,
did it, man?
It was kind of surreal when I got to act with him. I'm just like,
yeah.
I was just
you were that starstruck?
I low-key was, honestly. I low-key was. But he's such an amazing guy, so it was very easy
and you played it well. You didn't make it obvious that you were...
No, of course not.
But does he know that you were starstruck, though? Have you told him now?
Yes. I even mentioned it, I think, in one of my YouTube videos. Like, he featured, and I was just like, I had a crush on him and blah, 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 blah. But, it was just a little schoolgirl crush. Obviously, now it's,
So who are you crushing on now?
Like... Locally or...
Yeah, let's start with locally.
Okay, let's start with there, then we'll bring it local. Out there, like...
Why? Because the local is a bit dangerous? Yeah?
So out there, I would say like
Idris
Elba, yes. And Abel, The Weeknd. Like, I am such a Weeknd fan. Yeah. It will probably...
when you said Idris, I already started thinking, you like tall, dark and handsome men. Then you went to The Weeknd, who's light and not that tall.
I know, but I think my crush for him is just his persona, his music.
But for Idris, it's a look.
Yes, his voice, his accent. Oh my gosh.
The British accent. Which girl doesn't like a British accent?
It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. I don't know if it's how they pronounce their words or...
I like, Aries Spears, the comedian.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen the clips where he talks about accents and how a British accent can get you anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just something about it, really. But yeah, coming to local.
I can come into local. So Idris Elba, The Weeknd, out there, local.
Do I have a local crush? Not anymore. Not anymore. Guys. This is crazy.
Come on, it's just the two of us, Mwaka. Come on.
Is it?
It's just the two of us.
You and how many other viewers?
Well, I promise, we're not even posting this. I promise you, it's just the two of us. No one will know. Kaleza. Upon my 3 goats.
Okay, local. It's gone.
Nah, I don't believe you.
No, okay.
I don't believe you. Yeah?
I kind of, once upon a time, but this was before we were even friends, which is weird.
Yeah.
So I guess the friendship took away the crush. You know how they say don't meet your crushes or your heroes.
It's like when you're friends and you date, something dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you've been friends for so long.
Exactly.
The breakup is just the worst, yeah.
It is. And then you just like, you don't know if you should go back to the friendship or what. But yeah,
You've busted a bubble that you can't fix. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a tiny crush. This was like in 2015 on Bobby.
Jay Walker. Yo! Is it for the reason everybody's thinking or there's something?
Oh, no. Honestly, I I mean, obviously, yeah, there's that, but I never even saw it, to be honest. Like, I
You never
just
saw the
heard
video?
about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a time I used to do aerobics while in school.
Yeah.
And so his song, is it Matero? Uzani Pezaku Matero? It used to play a lot.
Yeah.
So I liked his voice. I didn't even know him, like facially.
Right.
So then this one time I was at a friend's birthday party and then I met him and we had a conversation. And then this other friend of mine who introduced us was like, oh, this is the guy who did this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, this is him. So I was like, oh. Okay. Yeah, so
It was better meeting the voice. The look actually
I liked
was
his
better
voice. He was cute and everything. But then we became friends, and then it was just like, okay, yeah, now he's my friend, and so we're just like, you know.
Yeah. You guys would have made a cute couple though, like two yellow bones in a relationship.
Oh my gosh, no, there needs to be some contrast.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, exactly.
Some chocolate in the
light,
relationship,
dark,
yeah?
yin and yang.
So is that why you didn't make a move on him? Did the complexion come into
No,
play?
not necessarily.
But are you one of those girls that is not shy to make a move on a guy if you really like him? Like if he's wasting time, he's not seeing the green lights?
I will let him know, yes. But I'm not going to make the move. I'll just put it out there.
Make the green light bigger every time he doesn't make a move.
Yeah,
like,
and then
dude,
if nothing's happening, I'll just be like, you know what, maybe it's not meant to be. So I'm not those very aggressive girls, because women, well, personally anyway, I like to be chased. I feel like women should be chased.
A woman should be chased.
Yeah. So if I go out after a guy, they might even if they do like me, they might end up just being like,
But one thing I found in the soccer, girls chase men a lot.
they're very bold. I don't know what's going on.
And most of the times, such relationships don't last. And I'll tell you why. Guys are like lions. You know what I mean?
Yes,
they love the
exactly.
hunt. And in fact, most of the fun is in the hunt. But if the meat comes to you, you start feeling like a caged lion and meat just thrown at you. It kills the thrill. You know what I mean?
Saying that once the lion catches the meat, then the thrill is gone?
No. It's, how do I put it? It's like money you make for free. You don't appreciate that money.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? But if you've worked hard for it, you plan how you're going to spend that money. You even reinvest that money.
Okay.
But if it came for free, usually it's just wasted.
Yeah.
It's like inherited money.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why most people tend to blow the money. Like they'll just waste it on frivolous things. Okay, that I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but if you mentioned if you give a guy a green light, what kind of a green light would you give a guy though?
I guess maybe depending on how they go about it. If they ask me out for dinner and I'm interested in them, I'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. I'll make time for you. We have our dinner. Depending on how the conversation goes, I just like things to flow naturally.
So are you dating now?
No.
Gentlemen, I'm a married guy, so this conversation can't go any further than this for me. But she's putting it out there.
No, I'm not.
You just did. If you have looks anything close to Idris Elba and the persona of the weekend, gentlemen, make your move right now. Mwaka, let's talk about your history though. We've spoken about your dad, you know, and what it was like growing up in your home. Your dad was in the box. What was your mother doing after growing up?
My mother, she worked in banking. So yeah, she was the opposite. She was just like, no TV, no nothing. Even now she's very like shy. So I've tried to get her to feature on my videos a lot, but like she's just like, no. But yeah, she was on the banking side. Grew up the ranks, I guess, eventually became a branch manager. And then one day she was just like, I'm tired. And that was it.
Opposites attract. My wife as well is one who can't even stand in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And look at me. I am more of the outgoing person. I'm the loud one in the relationship. I'm the one who has, you know, the confidence to stand in front of a camera, be in front of a microphone. My wife cannot do any of those things. But I think that's why it works. Like in your dad's case. He's the public guy. Your mom is a private person. Can't even come on her own daughter's show.
I tried to convince her. I'm like, Mom, please, anything. She's just like, no. I'm like,
Serious?
cool, yeah. So, but that's what I meant, I guess, that with the opposites thing. You have to sort of balance
yin
each
yang.
other out.
That makes sense. And then I'd like to know more about, you know, your upbringing, your Your education, what schools did you go to? High school, primary school, and the likes?
Okay, so primary, I started out at this school. Okay, let's just say nursery. It was a school called Lemiada. I think it's a boarding school now.
Sounds like an Italian school.
It was anything but. Then from there, I went to Rainbow Primary School. That was like 2nd to 7th grade. And then 8th grade, I passed to Kasisi, but they didn't want to let me go. So I ended up being at St. Mary's Girls in Lusaka. Yes. So that was from 8th to 12th grade. Thereafter, I did a few courses here and there at different schools while I was waiting to get to university, which I did at Unza. Yeah.
I was reading up on your LinkedIn, and it says
it needs to be updated. Oh my goodness.
Wait, so how much of updating does your LinkedIn need? Because it says Mwaka Mugala, lead actress, graduated 2014 from University of Zambia with a merit in mass communication, minored in psychology.
Yes.
We've spoken about the mass communication, but why the psychology though?
Why?
Yeah.
I've always been curious about the human mind, about human behavior. So for me, okay, I feel like my career choice forces me to interact with people a lot. And so I wanted to understand how people work, how people think, so that I'm better able to interact with them. Yeah. But again, it was just out of interest, to be honest. Besides that, yeah. I know I can't read minds. A lot of people do ask this question. No, I can't read minds.
The next question about to ask. Like,
see,
anytime somebody
I
says
won't say I read your mind, but no.
That's why, you see, point proven already. Anytime somebody tells me they've studied psychology or psychiatry, I get nervous. Like, so the conversation we're having here, are they assessing me? What are they thinking?
No, don't worry, don't worry. I tend to switch it on and off. So,
how much of it has been on so far on this episode?
Well, I was very nervous about coming here, but after meeting you, I was like, okay, cool, this is going to be fun. So that it helped me relax. I just said, yeah. Otherwise, I if it was a boring interview, I would have just been like, okay.
And especially the fact that unlike ZNBC, you can have your drink.
Even faked a phone call, like, oh
I have to go now.
It's time to go. Yo, these guys have been calling.
The psychologist part of you.
Yes.
What can you tell me about my character from what we've known each other for like what?
Oh my goodness, that's
the most of 10 minutes now?
Yeah. I can't say much, but
not much. Not much. Okay, the little that you've seen so far.
Look, with science, psychology is a science, so you have to observe people before you come up with a conclusion, a sensible conclusion. But you're a people person. Obviously, that's why you're doing this job. Otherwise. But I feel like maybe there's a little bit of an introvert in you.
A whole lot of an introvert.
A whole lot. There we go. Yeah. So
yeah, there is.
I think I got 2 things right.
To a certain extent. I like keeping
extent.
to myself. I like being home a lot.
Yeah. Music.
I rarely listen to music.
You don't. That's weird. So what do you do when you're at home?
I am
TV or books or just outdoors? Are you an outdoorsy person?
If I turn the TV on, I'll probably start watching crime documentaries on ID or crime and investigation, or I'll start watching podcasts, or I'll listen to podcasts on my phone on Spotify. I'm that kind of a person.
Nice.
Yeah, I rarely watch. If there's a good movie to be watched, I'll watch that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you do your primary school at that school with a funny name.
The school with the funny name.
La Mamuda or whatever it was.
Lamiada. I'm not the one who named it.
Elson, so I apologize on your behalf. And it's not your fault that you're late. I was saying I was apologizing on your behalf, and now it's not your fault on this episode that you're late.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was explaining Mwaka has tricky schedule, so she had to move things around and came earlier than we planned.
Yeah, it's alright. Is my mic on? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're meant to.
How did the meeting go though? You made the money?
Can you believe people have been stealing from me?
What? Stealing from you? How?
Just because it's black.
Imagine that.
Like people you work with, or
People
through
that I
your
don't know.
account?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
A lot, and we're talking 6-7 figures.
Sure.
7 figures.
7 figures, yeah.
Now only just
Yeah.
realized this yesterday.
That's a lot of zeros. it's
No
nice
wonder.
having,
Like when you looked disturbed when you came, so I was like, I hope it's not because
Yeah.
of me.
No, my apologies.
and I
That's
hope
crazy. Oh my
it doesn't
gosh.
affect your security and all that, your safety, mentioning these figures. But that's why I chill with him. I like having rich friends around, you know what I'm saying?
It might
Nah, I'm
it might
saying-
affect me flirting with you though.
Oh, by the way, she's single?
Oh,
my
really?
God.
Are you free to mingle though?
Oh,
No.
that makes the two of
No,
us
I'm
though.
not.
Have I seen with David Kazadi before?
Yeah.
I have, right?
though.
Yeah, we worked together.
No, not in that context.
What context?
Weren't you with him?
How did I know this question would come up?
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
There must have been some business summit that happened. Mm-hmm. Was it you?
Maybe not it. Was it me?
Do you have a big ass? Because I know that's his type. Sorry. As you were before I rudely
Her dad's gonna watch
interrupted.
this, so yeah. Where were we? We're talking about
Where's the
pretty much.
waitress?
Yeah, we need another drink. Nicholas, can you please call the waitress? So we let me what?
Lamiada.
Lamiada, St. Mary's, Onza. What was your first job? Was this a ZNBC job?
No,
the news
actually.
reading, was it?
So I started working as a kid actually. So I used to do a lot of adverts,
Okay.
voiceovers, and then
Wait, which advert did you do, and can we remember you from that? Though?
so there's like kids TV adverts, Sobi books. You know the Sobi exercise books.
I remember back to school with Sobi.
Yeah, so there were the exercise books. We were advertising them, and then so even for International Children's Day of Broadcasting, I narrated a documentary about this girl in Livingston, yada yada yada.
Right.
Yeah, and then before Unza, I was working with my dad for a while as a videographer. Yeah, so he taught me how to use the camera before. Yes, please. Another. So he actually taught me how to use the camera before I went to school to learn how to use the camera.
So basically, school was a waste of time. Yeah.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
I just went there because I needed a paper to, just in
prove.
case. Yeah. So yeah, those were some of the jobs I had. I do miss working behind the camera though. I won't lie. Like
Or behind.
Yes,
Now you're in
as a-
front. You're a star though.
yes, as
So- I'm trying to. Of course, you did theater in high school. Did you do any of that after high school?
after high school in church. Yeah. I did
You were
stage acting
married
on
and-
church. Yes, I was married.
I figured
I
as
was
much
so
on the
happy
Christmas
because
page.
Mary the Virgin.
yes.
Why does that sound so corrupt coming
Well
from you?
played. Well played, by the way. But I wanted to be married for the longest time. And I was an innkeeper, I was an angel, but never married. And so finally when I was married, I was just like, yeah, I've made it in life.
I was Joseph once.
Yeah.
Or were you?
Yeah.
The carpenter.
A quiet Joseph.
I remember that was the church was called Eastleigh Assemblies of God in Muflira. I was Joseph, and I remember my script. I had to go knocking
Oh yeah.
on
The innkeepers.
the
and- I was
innkeepers,
one as well.
opening and
One.
telling me they're fully booked or they won't take a baby or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we end up in the manger and stuff. It was a really cool role. It's the only time I've ever been anything close to the main actor. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah.
Or anything close to the Bible too.
That too. So how do you end up in Zuba now?
Okay, so I'll take it back to 2013, 12, somewhere there.
Yeah.
As part of our program, we attended a workshop, so a film workshop basically. So the first week, it was a 2-week workshop, and in the first week I did writing because I wanted to be a script writer. Second week, I actually wanted to do directing, but then Becky Ngoma, who was one of the facilitators, advised that I do acting, and I was like. And she said, no, I see something in you. And I remember we had a guest from South Africa. She was an actress in Generations. And she also said, no, that girl needs to be an actress. And I was just like, yeah, no, let me just direct. Yeah. So anyway, I did it because I was like, what harm could it be?
Yeah.
So I did that. Years later, Fever auditions are happening. Yes.
Yeah.
So Becky calls me again and she says, no, come on audition. And then I get there and I do the audition and I was really like, okay, you know what? I hope I get it. And then I didn't get the role. So I was kind of discouraged. I'm just like, maybe acting really isn't for me. Years later, she calls. In fact, I called her because I wanted to interview her. At the time, I was working at Diamond TV. I wanted to interview her, women in film, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, no, I don't do last minute interviews. I need a bit of time. And I'm just like, great. I don't have any guests tomorrow. Then she's like, oh, but by the way, we've got auditions for this new show. She explained the plot. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not going to work. It was supposed to be basically an experiment to see how telenovelas would work in Zambia. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to have my name on that because I didn't think it would succeed. This is so bad. Oh, my gosh. Anyway.
And nobody wants to be associated with a flop anyway.
No.
So.
Yeah, so I went for the audition. I didn't even give in my all because I didn't want to be rejected again. I could not take that pain again because I don't do well with rejection. So
You do not look like you've been rejected too many times, though.
you surprisingly, I have. I'm in interviews, auditions, whatnot.
You meant relationship-wise with boys and men.
We've been dumped before,
Have you?
Yeah.
By boys who didn't know what they wanted in life. So yeah,
They want the other men, I'm
Not
sure.
just
yeah, most likely.
I don't see a guy leaving you for another girl.
Life happens.
So, but you okay? Sorry, let me not disturb your train of thought.
Save that question. Yeah.
As you were.
Okay, as I was, yes. So, I get there and I'm just like, I'll just do whatever. They give me a few scenarios, and they're like, okay, cool, we'll call you. And I'm just like, yeah, I know you won't, so I'll just go back to my job. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I go back, and then the next day she calls and she's like, oh, they liked your audition tape, but they would like to audition you in vernacular. And I'm just like, oh, this is where they're going to reject me because
Well, your vernac is bad.
What, your vernac is shit?
it's it's okay. But I just thought, because she said the girl is Tonga and I'm not Tonga and I don't speak Tonga, so I thought that would have been
But why would they
an
assume you're
issue.
Tonga?
No, they didn't assume. They asked if I could speak.
All right.
So they wanted to try and see how I would work.
Okay. So
Yes.
Did you
Right.
lie and said you could when you
No, I
couldn't?
didn't. I said I couldn't. And so they said, okay, we'll get you someone to teach you and whatnot.
To teach you Tonga?
Yes. So I actually
that is one
learned on
language you
set.
need to eat.
Enough time for you to take up the role?
Well,
I think Tonga is a really heavy language.
it is. It is.
You need to eat before you speak Tonga,
That's
man.
exactly
Yeah.
why I am surprised that someone is going to teach you.
I'm a fast learner, I guess.
And you learned.
I did. I did.
I've lived in Lusaka for the longest time and I can't speak Nyanja still.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What can you speak?
Bemba.
Ah,
I'm a
okay.
Kopala guy, so.
Okay.
She went Basanish twice, right? Kopala swag in the beauty.
I really I love Bemba. Like I envy people who speak. I can speak, but understanding I do. Even the deep ones that go over people's heads
I'll
most
teach
times.
Elson and he'll teach you.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
That'll work, right?
Yeah. Weekends at my
I
house.
thought this was a podcast, not a
Hook up.
blind date.
Blind date.
Yeah, no, they lied to you. That was a way to just get you to
Clearly.
come here. Because if they told you it was a date, you were not going to show up. Were you? So all
No,
this is
I
for
wasn't.
Sure. We're actually on a date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where's the food then? Because I'm hungry.
Oh, really?
Why
no,
aren't you feeding the
don't
guest?
worry. Huh?
No, I'm saying, why aren't we feeding the guest?
Come think of it, right?
What would you like to
Right?
have?
Ish. No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Are you sure? And don't be shy.
I'm not
The
shy.
cameras are actually off.
We've got Nshima in the car as
Are
well.
they? That's
Yeah,
a
they are.
lie.
No, I promise you.
We've
I'm
got
so
we've got
upset.
Nshima in the car as well.
You're upset?
Yes, that the cameras are off.
No, why? We're meant to be having
Lamek, the Nshima is still in the car, right? Would like some Nshima as well.
Shima with what?
What did you get? Nshima with what? T-bone and
and voice.
Is there beans?
chicken and fish.
Is there beans?
Is there beans? We just went to North Mid.
Oh,
One of
okay.
those restaurants in the market.
And
They
then
just
they
packed
just-
for us. But I'm sure there's all the vegetables there. Yeah, we can go eat in
you
the car
Nshima?
park.
Yes.
She loves Nshima. I can tell.
How can you tell?
You look the type.
So again, I always like do that hand motion again.
No.
Mike.
So I always give this disclaimer, right? Like, so he told me that we had you on today, and just like the other 30 guests, I'd never heard of you. So I'd like to know you.
36.
Yeah,
36
we
now,
were 36, but at the 30, I did not offer them. Just a handful.
Really?
Yeah. So I'd
Okay.
like to know you as we get to
He
talk.
used to live in Belgium,
So
so
I
Oh, I see.
for a long time, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
So he missed a lot of what happened back home in the past 10,
so I
12
might
years.
ask a lot of questions that might seem ignorant.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? So don't take offense to it.
No, I won't. I
Yeah.
won't. Yeah.
All right, cool.
There
As you
could be
were.
someone out there who also doesn't know me and
Join me in celebrating our Copper Queens. They're taking us somewhere at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Under extreme conditions, copper can withstand more than 1,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. Zambian excellence. The mighty Copper Queens are taking us to FIFA. She Polo Polo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they expected you to speak Tonga.
yeah. Well, they didn't really expect, but
Or they said you're going to learn. They're going to teach you.
So cool. So we go for the audition, and they gave me this role where like I had to cry, and I don't like crying in public, so I did struggle.
Do you have that ugly cry where you got snot coming out of your nose?
I can't
Saliva
get there.
all over the place.
I can do the Viola Davis if it gets to it.
Jesus.
But that
But-
was a disgusting scene. What movie was that again?
Did you see she took a hit for her role when she played Michelle Obama?
Oh, with the
Yeah, with the mean overbites.
yeah, I think she kind of over
Which movie was
exaggerated
that where
it,
she had
but I haven't
the
seen it, so I
snot?
really
Yeah.
can't judge. Yeah, no, most of the movies where she cries, she goes
She's
like
got
really.
snot.
Yeah, because
and-
even in How to Get Away with Murder, there's one. I think like
Yes.
where she had
Yeah.
mucus all over the place.
Yeah.
And the wig was off and
How do you take as an actor? How do you take yourself to this space?
Well, there are two ways. So there's method acting where you just sort of imagine a scenario, and the director sometimes can take you there by making you imagine. And then you just, especially if you haven't experienced it, say, for example, if you're doing a role like a nurse and you've never been a nurse, so you sort of shadow someone who's an actual nurse. And then, but most times, for you to get to that dark place, you have to borrow from real life. And that's why they usually say, like, actors are the most messed up people, I won't lie. Because we have to deliberately go through dark places that we've experienced. You know, most people want to forget that, but you're excited. You're like, oh yeah, that one time I was robbed, let me go back to that experience and just borrow
And take
from
the
that.
emotions from that.
Yes,
How do
take
you
the emotion
replicate the
and then
emotion?
apply it to the scene. So yeah, you just take yourself in that space.
So how many times have you used breakups to bring up that emotion again?
I rarely use breakups, to be honest. But it depends on the intensity, I guess. So if I just have to like cry lightly, yeah, I will use that one time I was told a certain thing by a certain someone, you know.
What did he say?
Huh?
What did he say? I mean, you brought it up, so it must really have.
No, right now I can't think of it. I think I've healed.
Did
so
they say
I don't.
that you were not light skinned and that hurt your feelings?
I say they don't date like girls.
They say they don't date like girls.
Yeah. And so I was just like, maybe if I was dark, I would have.
Is that the only time that you've wished you were dark?
I wished I was dark many times, weirdly enough. Because growing up, I was bullied because of my complexion.
But don't you think that was like jealousy and envy?
What's up with that growing up though? Like,
Sure. Kids are mean.
yeah,
Kids
that's what I'm
are
saying. Like,
mean.
even when we were in primary school, there's a
So-
girl we used to laugh at, Toela, not Kaira. She was light skinned,
Yeah.
and would laugh at her, calling her a tomato and things
Yes,
like that.
such names.
They called you that as well, right?
Yeah,
Zayelo.
tomato, Zayelo, what?
And then you grow up.
And so when
You want light skin.
you know you start to think to yourself like, maybe this complexion is not nice. Maybe
Yeah.
it's nice to be a dark
I
skinned
think
person.
it's
So
from
now,
jealousy in most people.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's so bad. Like I would I'd try and research how to get dark, and I think, okay, if I sit in the sun, maybe I would get dark.
You actually did
Sit in the
that.
sun.
Yes, I used to try and make my skin darker because I was bullied for being light
So
skinned.
Auntie is trying to get lighter, you're trying to get darker. Go to her and ask her for the reverse of the shit that she makes.
Sure. I choose not to comment.
She pleads the fifth.
I plead
We
the
do not
fifth.
have that goddamn amendment here in
She
Zambia.
pleads
That's
the
for
fifth.
America.
She's borrowing it right now.
Yeah,
Just
no,
for this
that's-
situation.
Nah, that's for America.
For this very moment, she's borrowing.
Aye. You
Fifth
gave me the
Amendment.
option. If I don't want to answer a question,
I plead the fifth.
Wait, so how do you,
Nah, I'm good.
with what you have just said, how you borrow certain emotions from dark times in your life, how do you manage to not be this fucked up person? You know what I mean? Or are you not?
She needs a sip.
I need therapy. No, like ask any actor, they'll tell you they don't like such scenes because to have to revisit a memory or a moment where you spent so much time trying to heal, trying to move on from deliberately just to get the emotion right. A lot of us take long to snap out of it. So even long after the director says cut, it's still in that space. So sometimes they'll even push that scene to be the last on the schedule so that once you're there, you just go home and cry and sleep and because it's mad. I mean, from one scene you're like happy and then you go to sad and then you go to angry and then you in all of that in such a short space of time, it really messes with you. And so that's why they say even actors generally were very sensitive people, like sensitive to emotions, sensitive. So in order to, I guess, protect ourselves from being overly stimulated emotionally, spiritually, we stay away from.
Oh, let the Jameson sink in now.
Have you had a sex scene? Have you had a sex scene?
Sex scene.
Sex scene, yeah.
Not obviously.
In Zuba.
Hi, Bo. Hey, let me finish before
find that episode.
before you misquote me. It wasn't a full on,
Right.
But I think it was the wedding night of me and the guy who plays my husband now, Nico.
Yeah.
So, obviously when you get married, you consummate the marriage. And so, we did it, I guess, for Zambian TV, not...
Just covered yourselves and that was it.
Yeah, just implied that things were happening.
So what do you tap into for you to be in the moment?
Idris.
fool.
Idris Elba. Why did I come here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
She told us that she taps into certain aspects of her life.
She probably channels.
No, but
She channels.
that's
people she's
now
seen
that
before.
that is the method acting I was talking about. You just
Or did you shadow somebody?
imagine. What?
Or you imagine your real sex?
No. I imagine that I'm guys, no.
No, tell me. No, be open. These cameras are off, right, Lamek?
Also, this is a dry run.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fine one.
Just rehearsing. We'll
Wait,
turn
so
the
what
cameras on.
do you imagine, Mwaka? I wanted a
I
feeling with a
just-
girl
I-
called Mwaka.
Really.
Yeah, like
And-
3 years ago.
And
She was psychotic. It was fun while it lasted, and then afterwards, Jesus, the texts and the calls, bro.
This one
why?
has studied psychology,
I
so
have no freaking
she can
idea.
explain why that Mwaka did that.
Like
Man.
she used to text and call a lot, or
She couldn't
Yes.
believe. She couldn't believe the breakup.
and that was
done.
psychotic.
I still have some of the text though.
So it was crazy texting.
It was crazy texting.
Ah,
like
you
barrage of
gave her
texts.
you gave her something that
Oh,
she
man.
liked and she didn't want to let go.
Yeah, nah.
This is like, I'm not letting go of this guy.
Nah.
What?
So back to the sex scenes. What do you tap into?
Remember that question you asked at the beginning? Yeah.
What question was that? What did you ask
question
in
was
the
that?
beginning?
Some of the question I'm not
Oh crap! Okay,
What did you say?
Is it okay? Look, I just
I
I
tell
let
him?
the
Yeah.
director direct. So the director would tell us what they want and we'll give it to them.
Have you ever refused
I
something
mean-
that a director told you?
We just tell the director if we're not comfortable with something and then they'll work around it. Yeah.
Okay.
What was the question that you said in the beginning?
Before we started, I asked her, is there anything that's completely off limits?
And what did she say?
No.
Also, nothing is off
Now
limits.
she wants to retract.
How I say it? What did I
She
say?
wants to withdraw Delela.
What's off
Oh, and it's
limits?
not come back. Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
which
what's off
which
limits?
is which for me that's in the affirmative. So
What's off limits?
Okay, that is off limits.
What, sex sins?
Yes.
But I can talk about your sex life though, right?
Sex life.
Yeah.
It's off.
No, but sex sins, because that's acting. Your sex life isn't
Yeah.
acting, or do you act in bed?
moving on.
Moving on, that's a nice car.
Oh, by the way, we had Spur Steak Ranch, Manda Hill Mall. Should we get to the food menu? Or later? We said later. So you can have an amazing breakfast from Spur Steak Ranch. We had an amazing
livers,
breakfast
yeah.
this morning.
Amazing fucking livers. Have you had the livers
He
yet?
had
Yes,
livers.
the chili
They're dope,
livers.
right?
I love them.
Right.
It's the first thing Elson ordered when we came.
Yes.
And
Damn
he
right.
He licked the plate clean.
No,
lick
they're
the
so
food,
good. I don't know what
man.
sauce they use,
If
but
you
it's
say that, now I believe that the food is good. I never trust Elson.
I
as such.
don't lick too many things. I
But
lick that
he
plate.
licks the plate. You can actually see your face in the plate. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So Spur Steak Ranch, Manda Hill is where we're at. And we're talking about, before we digressed terribly.
we keep digressing.
I wonder whose fault that is.
We were fine before you came.
Anyway,
Before I arrived.
yeah, exactly what she means.
I
We're talking about, do we conclude on the learning Tonga and how you got the role?
No, we didn't. See, that's why we keep
We
digressing.
digressed. We were going to Kitwe up north. We ended up in Choma
Those are fun
at
trips.
Miss My Hometown.
Anyway, yeah. So I think I had to audition 2 or 3 times before I finally got the role. And yeah, that was it. I got the role. But I had to audition like a lot.
And then...
And yeah, no, it's
You had to audition a lot.
No
I think,
cut
yeah, I
couch,
did like,
right?
no, like I think they liked what they saw, but they weren't convinced. And I think because I was limiting myself, because I was scared they would change their mind. And I said, you know what, if they do it, let it be on my own merit and not because they just didn't want me. Because like I said, I don't take rejection well. So if I know that I performed badly and then they say, okay, we don't want you, then I'll be like, okay, cool. That's my fault. But if I gave it my all and then they say, no, we've changed our minds, I think I would have quit. I would have just dropped my acting dream altogether. Yeah.
And then Zuba kicks off. 3 to 5 episodes in, it becomes the most talked about thing on social media. How much of Zuba changed your life? Like when you become mainstream, like the most talked about thing in the country, because people would actually discuss. I think at first it was showing like on a Sunday or something.
No, it's always been Monday to Friday.
Yeah, but I think like the first few episodes, you would always see like the following day, you're like the topic, everybody discussing what happened in Zuba every day. How much of this changed your life? How much of Zuba changed your life? I spent in the early days.
Well, in the early days, because by the time it was airing, we were on break, so at least I could hide out and stuff. So not so much. But then the first time I realized how crazy it was, I was at a food festival.
Yeah.
And for me, I just wanted to go there and eat. Like, I love to eat. So my plan was just go there with my friends, have fun, eat. And before I even got to the entrance, people were like, oh my gosh, can I take a picture? We get inside. Before we go far, people kept stopping me. And then I meet some of my other castmates and they're like, thank goodness you're here. Now
Take the pressure off us.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, that for me, that was so surreal. And I was just like, okay, I guess no more buses. So, because at the time I didn't have a car yet, so I was still using public transportation. And then it hit me like I can't because it's going to be crazy. Yeah. So it's pretty much been crazier since, and I would say it's changed maybe 80% of my life. There's certain things I can't do anymore. I can't just show up to shop in a shopping mall with my pajamas. I have to.
I was about to ask, like, what do you miss most about not being famous, or like the life before you became famous? What do you miss most?
Not being under the scrutiny of the public eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which activity do you miss the most that you can't do now that you're famous?
I love
Pajamas at
taking
the mall.
walks. Well, not pajamas at the mall, but
Yeah.
I love taking walks. So if I have to do that, it has to be like, sometimes I go hiking in like,
Oh man.
Oh, he does hiking as well.
okay.
He went hiking for 1 hour. Yo.
1
Yeah.
hour, fam.
We did not
I
hear
went
the end of
hiking
it.
at 9 a.m. and I was done by 5 p.m. That's the that. So
Are
so
you serious?
he's such a very mushy guy. So let me tell you about. So we don't talk daily, but for some reason on that day he noticed my phones were off. So I went to Kefiwe
Oh, okay.
for hiking. Have you been hiking there?
Nice. Not yet.
Right. So I think he tried to call me in the morning and my phones were off.
Yeah.
And so only when you get to the top of the mountain do you get cell phone reception. And this was now around 2-3 when I got cell phone reception. So I got two phones. Literally
I
on
remember
both
the story,
phones,
yeah.
both WhatsApps, both texts. He's texting me. Let me show you what this nigga here says.
He was concerned.
I
He
was
said, hey.
and I'm looking at him like, what's your name again? Come in.
Wow.
Here's the thing. Here's a guy who's always on his phone.
Ah, I see.
And then on a Saturday morning, when you expect to get through to the nigga, his phones are off. Both lines are off. Wouldn't you be worried?
Yeah.
I started
well,
thinking, who does he owe money that kidnapped him and
So he sent me a text and I just read that. I was like, huh.
I even thought this guy was dismembered or something because his phones were off the whole morning. Like,
Wow.
But yeah, I love that you go hiking. And when you and speaking of, see, there you go. The last text here on the 2nd of July. Read that.
Your phones have been off for a while. Are you okay?
is that really mushy, really?
Yeah.
I think if I was to die, he'll be the first person to realize that I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your family doesn't call you that much?
No. I call my son daily though. So I think he'll be the first. But then only at night.
Only at night.
Right.
Yeah,
How
'cause
old
I
is
read
your
to
son?
him. He's 5.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah, I read to him. I don't want to digress. I'll tell you a funny story about my son sometime later. But yeah, walks and hikes.
Yeah, I do love that as well. And now I have to just go to places where there are no people so I can just take a walk, breathe, clear my mind. Yeah. And I do appreciate the love. I do. But there's just moments where you just, you've had a long day and you're probably feeling sweaty and dirty because you're just like, ugh, and you're somewhere and then people just like want to have your attention and you try to be nice, but then, because they've caught you on an off day, sure, it's an issue.
So have you ever said
And
no
I just-
to
I've-
photos?
Huh?
Have you said no to photos?
Hi, Chiboy. We're on set right now. You said Mwaka is a shy person. Sorry, I'm calling her manager. You said she's taken over the show.
That's my PA.
She's like that, trust me. She's very adaptable.
She's very adaptable.
Yeah.
Half the time, we started this episode thinking we're not going to talk much, and she's taken over the whole show. Why did you lie to me?
My bad. Trust me, you enjoy it then.
Yeah, you owe us
It's really
money.
fun.
You owe us money now.
I will come for my drink.
All right, cool.
She's not wrong.
I'm looking
though.
at you the whole time
She's
thinking.
not wrong. She's not wrong.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm and that's the funny thing. A lot of people will look at me and assume like I'm very like, but
But you
I'm
have
a
been, the whole episode you have been.
Yes, because I have to be. Yay, yeah, entertainment. But
No, don't expect much
Nah,
from
I'm
Mwaka. She's
joking.
not very outspoken. She's very shy. Complete opposite of what we're seeing right now.
No,
Yeah.
but that's good though. I like that. I like that.
I adapt, I guess. But look,
Nothing fun about anybody who's
generally, yeah, I'm a very shy person. I'm quiet. I'm reserved, and so yeah, socially awkward as well. So in large groups
I'm
of
socially
people,
awkward.
I'll be just there, like either on my phone, and if there's no one there that I know, yeah, I'll just blend into the background. Yeah, so it's quite. So I hope people know this from today, that sometimes they'll see me and then they'll just think, oh my gosh, she's so mean because she's just like, and she'll give an eye. I don't know what face I make, but like for me, I'm just like, I just want to go home because I'm shy and I'm scared and whatever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that I just don't want people to talk to me, So yeah. I've had moments like that where people will send me messages like, I met you this one time and you were so rude. And in my head, I'm thinking, when? Because I probably was either having a bad day or I thought I was nice.
Yeah.
I thought I was smiling, but then the face is saying something else.
Inside, just smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling on the inside, but then my face is just like,
You know,
I'm looking for this message.
a lot comes with fame, and
Whew, Shem, yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, let's talk about the good things as well. You get to start receiving a lot of free stuff. What's the biggest thing you received so far as a famous person?
The biggest freebie.
Yeah.
Not a car, but that would be nice. A car would
Just
be nice.
putting it out
You've got
there.
a car though now, right?
Huh?
You've got a car now, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What kind of car do you drive?
So that people should start stalking me.
No, won't say the color.
And I'm sure it's not like you drive a Bentley, right? No, my point is, whatever car that you're gonna say is not like the only car in Zambia.
I know. Okay. Oh, are you sure? Okay.
Am I sure you don't drive a Bentley? No, I'm not sure that you drive a Bentley. I know
You
David
just-
does.
Ask what you want to ask.
What car do you drive? Is what I wanna ask.
Clearly,
What
no.
car do you drive?
It's a.
It's a.
What do you
Can
call
you
it?
let the lady answer, man?
What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Conventional. Yeah, SUV. Let's just say it's an SUV.
What you think a RAV4 to push a RAV4? I'm now looking at something conventional. I'm seeing a Range Rover.
Yeah, just something convenient, big.
Jeep Cherokee.
I like big cars. I used to like small cars. Like before, my dream car
Yeah.
was a Mini Cooper. But then I ended up living in an area where the roads could not accommodate tiny cars. So
And you made more money to afford an SUV, so
yeah,
So Zuba
Why
paying you
not?
that well.
she's a star.
well enough for me to
Buy an SUV.
Afford an
pay
SUV.
my bills. Yeah.
He had an SUV, but it was like a rundown SUV.
Was it?
It was run the fuck down.
I don't miss that car.
Of course.
What am I saying?
But it got you places. It
Yeah,
was
it did.
convenient
It
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Dude, you're bringing back some very bad memories.
How dare you? How very
know, right?
dare you?
I would hear this nigga's car all the way from
Over there in the Kingsland.
I hope you didn't have to do any
Right,
funny
so I
things
live, like, in
before
a
it
gated
had to
community.
move.
No,
Like you hit
I
somewhere
would start-
first.
It had a bit of a hole on. No, not actually 2 or 3
A
holes
bit?
on the exhaust. So it was making a bit of a noise. Yeah.
I live in a gated community. I'll hear this nigga all the way from the fucking gate. Right? So if I was eating, then I have to take away my food. Like, all right, this nigga's here now.
No, but I've got a new car now. Dude, are we concluding on our due, by the way? Speaking of new cars,
Yeah, we are.
like now?
After the fucking podcast.
I'm running out of time, bro. That's why I'm bringing. Anywho,
We've got a
Anywho.
fucking
Our
guest in
time
front of
to
us.
get the deal done. Oh my gosh.
what, you have to run?
3 missed calls.
Okay.
One
Okay,
sec. Let
do
me
you wanna
just.
call them
can
back?
can I pick up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Put
please
them
feel
on
free.
speaker, though. Put them on speaker.
Hola. I'm sorry. My phone was on silent.
Is that David? Let me say hi to him.
Hey, silly.
No, I can never
Okay.
betray you.
You want me to do it now?
Manda Hill.
Nice. If we can have the deal
Okay.
done.
I'll
now.
be there
Yeah.
right now. Wait.
To
So
anybody
like you need me
watching
now,
around
now,
there,
now.
Yes, we are doing deals on set. Transfers
Okay,
and
cool. I'll be
transactions.
there.
You know, I was laughing at something. I don't know who posted that today, and somebody says, "Guys, please, language. If you're sending anything less than a 1 pin, please don't call it a transaction. Just say you've sent the money." Transaction is for bigger figures, like a 50 pin.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
It's timing out in a second.
It's coming to me.
No, it's timing out. Let's finish off on the.
You have to go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Can you please call the waitress? I need some shots on the table. We're about to play something that she. No, we're editing the parts where you're saying you're going for work. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah. You made Cleo drink on your YouTube channel. So on behalf of Cleo, this is Revenge of the Sausage. Yeah. So
Did
we're
she
gonna play.
did she put you up to this? I'll call her after this.
Yeah,
I'm
please
just-
call after this. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But I was watching this on your channel thinking, yeah.
It wasn't that bad. It didn't get too crazy.
No, we're not gonna get crazy here. As well. Just,
No.
yeah.
We're in public.
It's been nice knowing, behind the scenes how you got into this, and for you, what a two-tier question. pros and cons of the soapy industry or being on the TV industry in Zambia. In your own opinion, yeah.
Pros and cons. Pros. Okay, no. I'll just say, and then you guys will pick out the pros and cons from that. Ne? So, basically, this industry is not for people who are just doing it because they either want to make a name or like if they want to get fame or if they want to make money. You have to have the passion for it, the genuine passion for it, because you will end up sacrificing a lot of your time. Case in point. So
It's for a good cause.
it is for a good cause. But my point is, you end up missing a lot of essential moments in your life because you're always working. So you miss out on sleep, one. You miss out on family events. You miss out on certain memories with your friends and whatnot. You're basically alone because this industry is your whole life. It takes, I think, about like 80% of your life, right? But it does have its benefits.
Just go ahead, ignore them.
Okay, so it does have...
Do you want to just go and speak to her? All right.
As you were?
Yes. So I was saying it does have its benefits. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to interact with different people from different walks of life. I guess in a way it sort of brings the world together because it's pretty much the same everywhere. So, you know, you work here on set, you go to another set in another country, it's pretty much the same. And so you won't have struggle adapting if you end up working in another country, for example. Yeah. But honestly, like, you really have to have the passion for this job. I love my job. I enjoy the interactions I experience every single day because it's different. It's not boring.
Yeah.
And for someone like me who gets bored easily, trust, if this job was boring, I would have left a long time
And to
ago.
think you were very reluctant to go into it.
Yeah, I was scared, honestly, because like I said, I didn't think it would be this successful. Because, you know, when Zambians are given something new, you never know how they'll react, if they'll like it, if they won't like it. So I didn't think we would have a second season, let alone a third, let alone 6, you know. Wow. But it seems people like it. And so I'm just like, okay, wow, this is great. This is amazing. But yeah, I guess I didn't expect my breakthrough to come sooner. I was prepared, obviously. You know, I used to practice in my mirror, do a lot of different roles. Imagine I'm on TV all the time, but I never thought it would come this soon. I thought I would be like probably in my late 30s by the time I got my first acting job.
How old are you?
I turned 30 in December.
No,
last
you did
December.
not.
I did.
No, you didn't.
How old did I turn?
I don't know, 22?
Yeah, she looks very young.
I do.
How old are you?
I just said.
13 December.
Did you say 30 or 13?
You heard 13?
I heard 30, but I don't think I heard correctly.
No, 30.
What year were you born?
91.
Are we doing a Chris Katongo here?
You turned 30?
Yes.
Whatever you're doing, do it every day and twice on Sundays.
Sunday.
Cool. More heartbreaks. I'm kidding.
Do you ever think of, you know, I mean, a lot of good things come to an end. And
Yeah.
maybe, just maybe, one day Zuba will come to an end. Do you ever think of what you're going to do after?
All the
Should that day come?
time.
Yeah.
All the time.
What
I
do you think
mean,
of doing should that day come?
I'll probably be depressed for like 3 months. I'm kidding. But yeah, I really want to get into writing my own things, scripts, directing. Like I said, I miss being behind the scenes. So I want to do more writing and directing. And I would also like to start something for the community. A lot of people come to me and they're like, look, I want to be an actress, or I want to do this, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So I would really love to facilitate, if not start my own film academy here and just get people to have a place to know where to go when they want to do something like that.
How much of how you look do you think plays a role in you being a good actor or being hired generally?
I honestly, for this role in particular, I guess they needed this kind of innocent looking pretty plain
And light
girl.
skins to match with the name.
Not necessarily light skinned.
If they wanted somebody
Zuba and your dog.
If they wanted somebody. Wait, is she Zuba?
Huh?
Is she Zuba?
Yeah, this is Zuba. So imagine. Yeah, just imagine that. Because I mean, Zuba is what, son, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
imagine.
Well, if they wanted somebody
They
innocent,
didn't really
then why did they pick
necessarily
you?
mean
It just
Zuba
happened.
as in appearance, but Zuba, yes, she's pretty, but
Yeah, but
she
what sort of
also
word?
is the kind of person who has like a big heart. She likes to help other people. She likes to bring sunshine in people's lives. So
Oh, you put sunshine here.
I'm glad.
How much? You know, a lot of times I know casters will try to find someone whose personality is close to a character.
Mm-hmm.
How much in terms of similarity do you feel there is between Mwaka and Zuba?
Well, back then, very quiet, naive. I guess had this sort of childlike wonder in her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still have that childlike wonder in me. But a lot of people who know me personally would be like, you're nothing like her. I think the only similarities is the fact that I'm quiet, I'm reserved, very shy. But we've seen over the years Zuba growing into someone a bit more aggressive, a bit more outspoken than she was before. And I think I've also grown with the character. But there's certain roles I'll play in relation to Zuba where I'd be like, yeah, that's definitely Zuba, and Maka would never do that.
So it's pretty much difficult to write you out of the show if you're the main character.
I wasn't about to ask.
Well,
Like-
I don't know. Hey, I mean, it would definitely it would affect the show, yes, to a greater degree. But if they're clever about it and how they write,
there's a
now
way
I'm giving
to-
ideas. Don't write me out, guys. But anyway,
But how
like,
soon do you know if you're being written out? Like, do you know well in advance? Do you
Like
know?
Tandy in Dope G's case.
yeah, he knew in good time, and obviously they had to ask him like, are you okay with being in a coffin, because that is kind of traumatizing to a certain extent. So they have to give you a heads up and prepare you and know if you're agreeable to that, whereas in other cases, if you breach the contract, it does be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, you gone. So now it will be up to you as a person to behave and just go out of the show with dignity, as opposed to just,
Then how much in advance do you shoot your shows?
well, right now, I'd say like there's probably about a month
A month in advance.
or less between shoot and the time it airs. Yeah.
Nicholas.
Where before, like we had at
Nicholas.
least enough time. At least I keep my anyway. Oh my god.
I meant to ask as well.
Edit. Anyway, let me get back to that.
Yeah.
Retake. Anyway, yeah, we had enough time between the time we shoot and the time it airs, because I guess we had enough leeway for that. But then now, because of the pressure we have to produce an episode every day, we're working with the little time we have, and I guess that's why the pressure,
And
we don't even
and
have days, we don't really have a lot of time to rest and stuff, because we just need to keep putting out work.
And so how then do you, because I remember watching Generations, and Oliver Mtukudzi dies. And literally the day that he died, the very episode that evening, they mentioned that he died. So if you shoot a month in advance, is there any way to keep whatever is happening current? Do you get my question?
Yes. So okay. There's a lot of calculations that goes on, especially for a daily show. So you know that, okay, by the time this episode airs, it's going to be Christmas. So we'll shoot today as Christmas when it's going to air on Christmas Day. But in such cases where obviously you can't predict certain things like death and things happen that are out of your control, they sort of plan around it and try and make it work. So it's...
If she can bring some wings.
Are they
Would you like some
already
wings?
ready?
Are they ready? Okay, cool. They can bring them. I need the drink now. It's part of the show. It's urgent. It's an emergency. Yeah.
Dude, why don't you just go there?
I know, right? She keeps taking her time.
You're the
this lady.
least attractive person on this table.
So I could leave and no one will notice, yeah? That's silly. I wanted to find out, Mwaka, though. Don't worry, this is how silly it is all the time. I'm used to it. Do you ever feel the producers maybe regret calling the show Zuba, considering, I'll give an example. Like he mentioned Generations. I'll talk about Isidingo, where every season you can sort of change the main character. But with Zuba, if the show is named after you, you can't sort of switch the main character around like other soapies. You know what I mean? Do you ever feel like the producers maybe regret calling it Zuba and naming it after a main character and you can't switch the characters around?
Honestly, I think that would be an answer best given by the producer. No. But
Yeah.
You don't want to talk yourself out of a job, do you?
not necessarily. It is tricky to name a show after a character because once that character goes, then it's like, okay, what happens to the show? Then they'll probably have to change it, make a spin-off and whatnot, work around it in a way. But with this one, I think they had their reasons, and I'm happy that they did, because for me, it's been good for me.
Good. This episode being brought to you by USA, I need to bring out something that has been heavy on my mind of late. You remember, I'm glad you spoke earlier in this episode about how
Why are you smiling? Are you about to talk about naughty stuff?
yes, I am. You spoke about, you used to do radio ads, TV ads, and whatever back in the day. And remember how on TV there was so much talk about abstinence, and how that message has just died.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then
Why did you look at me like that?
Is it impossible? No.
For people to abstain
Yeah.
from sex?
Anyway, yeah.
You agree, right?
I won't say.
No, let's be real here.
Look, yes, the reality on the ground, unfortunately, even in schools, even if you teach them about abstinence and whatnot, a lot of them, unfortunately, are already engaging in such activities. And so if you look at some of the demographics, let's just say across Africa, or maybe even across the world, a lot of the people that are infected are the younger demographics. Why? Because they don't have adequate information on prevention or protecting themselves. For them, they just think, you know what, we're having fun, and you look at a person and you assume they're okay and it's fine. Whereas we are a little bit wiser, I guess, because of those messages that came about when we were a bit younger, and they would always say abstinence in the chair, if you can't abstain, use protection, blah, 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 blah. So now a lot of people right now are just self-conscious, but I feel like we really need to try and reinforce those messages as much as possible. We may think it's impossible to change people's mindsets, but at least we can do as much as we can to give people adequate information to protect themselves from such vices, because even if we say, yes, the reality on the ground is people don't abstain and blah, 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 but we mustn't take it for granted that we can actually engage in some sort of behavioral change campaign. And so we shouldn't just think to ourselves, no, this is going to be useless information. No. So I think especially with big organizations or influencers, quote unquote, it's up to us to really just try and change the mindset.
And the craziest thing with the demographic, because I was listening to what you were talking about, and the demographic is mainly young people, right, for the put. But have you noticed that it's mainly girls that are getting infected with HIV at a much higher rate than boys and men?
Yeah.
And I spoke to you on the phone about this, and I'll speak as a guy, right? Like, say you and I are about to have sex.
I think she's taking it literally.
No.
She went too quiet.
Sorry. I was looking at a car that just kept rolling, and I figured I was gonna run into another car. So listen. So say you and I are about to have sex. Have you noticed that 90% of the time, if a condom is to be used,
It's the guy's
decision.
it's the guy's decision.
Yeah.
It should be the woman's decision.
Right.
The woman actually, I think a lot of women, and maybe that's where the problem is, women don't realize how much power they have. As a woman,
Absolutely.
if you don't want to engage in sexual activity, you can just tell the guy, no.
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you want to, and then the guy just wants to go ahead without using protection, you can tell the guy, look, I'm not interested until you use protection. So
Right.
at the end of the day, I think it's up to us women to not be silent.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find that sometimes a lot of men will take advantage of women, try to manipulate them and be like, yo, no, I'm good, don't worry, don't
You
worry.
don't trust
you
me?
know what's scary is people are actually more scared. They're
Of
scared
getting pregnant.
Pregnancies.
as
then,
opposed to
yeah.
getting sick.
Funny,
And it's just
I was speaking to Bambisa about that.
Yes, and that shouldn't be the case, especially in a world where promiscuity is high.
Yeah.
So people should be scared to get sick. It's like, okay, fine. Why are you scared of a baby and you're not scared of something that could
Kill you.
kill you? Yes.
This is the evolution of the campaign. Early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Abstinence, iliche. Mid 2000s to the 2010s, 2015s. Be wise, condomize.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we realize nobody's using condoms anyway. Now the message is PrEP. And I think we need to talk about that as well. PrEP, these are pills that, for somebody who doesn't know, you take, especially that we've realized that people are not using condoms either way, no matter how much you preach about that. PrEP can actually prevent the spread of HIV by...
What? So you take them before?
Yeah, you take them before.
So you plan on having raw sex. So you take them.
Yeah.
Look, it's I guess in
It's
scenarios
pre-exposure
where
prophylaxis, so yeah.
you're with a partner whose status you're unsure of.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah.
Or if you're not sure if your partner is out there and so you're just trying to protect yourself, or if you are infected and you want to protect your partner, you could also take
Suppresses
that.
The viral
The
load.
load, yeah.
Wait, so do you keep taking them or do you take them for like a certain period?
I think it's a daily,
It's a daily thing. You have to
Well,
keep taking
forever.
it, yeah.
pretty much, as long as you're active.
Yeah,
So otherwise, don't be active.
exactly. We go back to early 2000s. Abstinence, city check.
Right. Man.
Mwaka, before we let you loose, let's do
Let
unto
her
you what
loose.
you... Yeah. Before we let her go. This guy.
He needs therapy.
Oh, he needs therapy.
He needs
Before we let
therapy.
you go.
But I haven't been to
Aye.
therapy this week though.
That's the problem. Before we let you go, let's do unto you what you did to Cleo Ice Queen. She made
What did she do?
Cleo, I'm
She made
sorry.
Cleo-
I'm sorry.
she made Cleo play this game, do a drink. So we're making her do the same as well today. And I've got a list of I've got good ones for you. Mwaka, here's a shot. Oh, and it's like a dry, nice one of your favorite drink. Is it? Mwaka, let's start with the first one. Do a drink. Twerk for 15 seconds or drink a shot.
Like twerk right
Twerk
now.
for 15 seconds or take a shot. We are going to be very sloshed today. So we are at the Spur Steak Ranch balcony.
Can you twerk?
As you can see the car park behind us here. You can see the car park, right?
Can you twerk?
That's why you should
no,
take a
I
drink.
don't.
You can't twerk.
can't, no.
Okay.
Where was I? We are at the Spur Ranch balcony. If you could stand just there and scream to everybody in the car park, I love sex, or drink a shot.
No.
Another
You're
shot?
not going to do this to me. No, guys. No. Be nice.
Yeah, like you were to Cleo, yeah.
I was.
Just one more shot.
That was like easy stuff.
This is easy stuff.
Guys, no, be nice. Be nice.
You will not?
So a shot?
I love X.
All right, cool. Fair enough. Dial the third last number you dialed on your phone and flirt with them or take a shot.
Can you please check?
Yeah, let me check. What
Just
the third last
verify that
was.
it's actually the third number.
It's missed calls and it's from the same one who's
No,
calling
that
me.
you
to
dialed.
go
That
now.
you dialed. The
I
third one that you dialed.
Huh. Guys, that is a clinic.
Wait, why the fuck were you calling a clinic?
It's a cosmetic clinic.
Yeah, call them or take a shot.
Guys.
Call them,
please,
flirt with them or take a shot.
Please be nice. Please. I'm begging you. I will.
Other than a shot, please.
Oh, what's the next one first?
Take
The final one.
Take a teaspoon of salt, or take a shot. Eat a teaspoon of salt. Take a shot.
Are you guys trying to raise my blood pressure? Why? So this will count for all those others. Yeah?
So far, yeah. I've says it all.
Oh my gosh.
Shot. Lego. Come on. You can do this. You're not a failure. Last one. Call one of your parents right now and tell them you are very high and they have to come pick you up. Or take a shot.
But they'll come for real. They'll come pick me up.
How often do you get high and how often do you call them for them to just believe
I
you?
never do, so they would be scared. Probably even think I have to go to the hospital or something.
You know what? Let me not do this to you. I think this is enough revenge for Cleo. It's been a good episode. Mwaka Mugala, daughter of the famous Alec Mugala. I only realized this today, and it's been an interesting episode. Thanks a lot for coming through. I know you're a very busy person, like we said, with all your acting and brand ambassador endorsement meetings and all, but you still made time for us. We're truly grateful.
Thank
Elson,
you for having me.
is there any pressing issue, any itching matter that you want to bring up?
Why did you have to say itching? Nothing about
You don't have an
me
STD,
itches.
we know.
Nothing about me itches. No, I'm good.
Should I give you the
All right,
number
Mama,
for
thanks a
the
lot for coming
clinic?
through. It's been that Zed Podcast, another little episode. To the next one. My name is K Plus, and you are
The other guy.
the other guy, the other short guy. Mwaka, thanks a lot for
I'm
coming
not
through.
motherfucking short, nigga. Say short one more time.
Mwaka,
Say
thanks for-
short one more motherfucking time.
Mwaka, thanks for coming through.
Thank
You
you for
are
having
scaring
me.
our guests with your violence.
I just might jump over.
I know, right? Yeah. But thanks a lot for coming through. It's been
Thank
lit.
you for having me.
And,
I'm never coming back. Don't invite me again.
No, we
please.
will.
No. I
This
need
is
to recover. I'm traumatized. I will use this in one of my scenes, like that time when that happened, and then
Yeah.
I'll just cry and
you should
cry.
invite us to your
I told you about your
YouTube.
face. Now your face is traumatizing the girl.
It's what they use to make babies stop crying. They just show.
Your face should be used as a weapon in the
Stop or
military.
start? Which is it?
You know when they're interrogating people? They'll be like, bring in Kalenga.
Till the next episode.
Dun 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 dun. 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 Dun 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 dun.